Hello again, everybody. This is Bobby Mills from theindependent.com with another version of the Bobby Mills Independent Sports Talk. We have Zach Mayhew behind the camera, producer, engineer, and everything else, plus bodyguard. Today we're at Grand Island Senior High with head basketball coach, boys basketball coach, Jeremiah Slough. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hey, thanks for giving us the time. Unless your head's been in the sand, as a fan, if you're a basketball fan, you know that Grand Island Senior High's boys are off to a 4-0 start. And I'll ask you one of the dumbest questions in the world. Okay, what can you attribute to your undefeated start other than scoring more teams than every other team you play?
Well, I just think that we have a lot of leadership. We got a lot of guys back. You know, we have 9 seniors, and so anytime you have upperclassmen, you expect to get off to a quick start because they've been through it before. So I think, you know, a combination of our leadership and our seniors and just some overall experience, especially from the guard play, has been instrumental in us getting off to a good start.
That's a pretty good deal. What I didn't realize you had so many seniors back. That's always going to be a big deal. Can you talk about your personnel a little bit? Some of those seniors, do you start all 5 seniors on the floor this year?
No, we start 4 seniors and a junior. Mooch Beal is our lone junior starter, 6'7". He's kind of burst onto the scene. He grew about 5 inches over the off season. So, you know, that's probably the biggest difference between this year's team and last is we just have some size. You know, with him and Andrew Bardalis playing the 4-5, all of a sudden you're 6'7" and 6'5". In the last couple of years, we've been 6'2" at the 5. So, you know, I think that's a big deal. And then LeBeck Warren's off to a good start. He's shooting at a very high clip, you know, but he's become more well-rounded. He's defending at a high level. And Casey Burnham, a 4-year starter for us. Will Nordhughes is doing a good job of, you know, shooting the basketball. So we just kind of have a lot of pieces to the puzzle. And when you take one away, another guy steps up. And so I think that's probably the best thing about us is we got a lot of depth.
Well, that is great. What does it take? What does it take to you've got some pieces in place? What does it take to get to state and be a contender with like the pieces you have? What's the key? Do I dare say defense in Class A?
Well, I think so. You know, we've made a big time commitment to the defensive side of the ball. We kind of handed that over to Coach Steve Hartman. He's been around the block a long time. He's got a lot of wins. He's super successful. He's taken a lot of pride in that, and our guys have taken a lot of pride in defending. And so we've played primarily zone for the last several years, just trying to stay close in games. And we've sold out to some man-to-man stuff. We're getting out pressure in the basketball on the full court. And so, you know, through 4 games, I think we're giving up about 40 points a game. Yeah. And that's a big contrast to the 55 or 60 that we've been giving up in the past.
And you're scoring well too. I saw that the shooting percentages, I think you were just looking at them here, but I mean, you're shooting in the upper 40s or maybe mid 40s from downtown, and the 2-point shooting average is really good. So you're taking about 15, 16 trays a game. I mean, it's a good balance, but are you playing man to man most of the time? I mean, have you or?
Yeah, defensively we are. You know, on the offensive side of the floor, we're just taking good shots.
Yeah.
You know, we expect to make baskets when we're taking good shots, and I think that's a credit to our guards and, you know, making sure that we're taking good quality ones and understanding time and situation on those. And then we have good shooters shooting them, and so we expect those to go in. But, you know, the biggest thing offensively that we have to do better of is we're turning the thing over too much. You know, I think we're averaging right around 17 turnovers a game, and that's just too many. And that's going to get you beat by the best teams on your schedule. So we spent a lot of time this week in preparation and just trying to get back to the fundamentals and taking care of the basketball.
2 big games this weekend with Lincoln East here on Friday and Carnegie on Saturday, but 2 winnable games. You know, that game is in Carnegie, I guess, but they're 2 winnable games in my estimation. I'm sure you think it, or you wouldn't be playing the games. But when you go to Omaha, I had to ask you this, or Omaha especially, are they playing the kind of defense that you like to see your kids play, or are they there yet with some of the? You know, I'm sure you haven't played prep or any of those, but.
You know, I think it just based on their personnel, their coaches, you know, what their philosophies are. There are some teams in Omaha like Benson, not real interested in defending. They just want to outscore you.
Sure.
You know, and so I think that was the biggest difference in our game last weekend against them is we just had a little bit better commitment to the defensive side of the floor. They're super talented offensively, and if you just try to go toe for toe with them and you know, get into a running game, they'll beat you. You know, and so, but then there's other teams, you know, the Millard schools really like to defend, and, you know, so it's just a little bit, you know, based on what their personnel is and coaching philosophies, but I think you can say that, you know, all the way across the board.
You think defense is getting better in Class A?
I think that teams are figuring out that in order to be successful, you know, over the course of a season and then to win 3 games down at the state tournament, you got to be able to defend a little bit.
I think so. Are you too young to remember Larry Ribble at Millard South?
No?
You know, I've seen people walk out of the state tournament when Millard South came to play because they were used to watching Omaha Benson beat Hastings 90-some to 80-some, and somebody scored 50 points in a game. But I mean, he just bored you to death with that defense. And do you think you could win that way this day and age?
I don't know.
You're a smart guy. I don't know the answer to that, maybe.
I don't know. You know, I'm a strong proponent of the shot clock. I think our game needs a shot clock.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would definitely make it a better game, a more free-flowing game. But at the same time, I like to be able to defend and then also run on offense
Well,
too.
yeah.
You know, we definitely want to be able to score it because I think you got to be able to score it too. You know, so I think that there's contrasting philosophies with that. There are teams that really do want to hold it in the 40s and the 50s, and I think those teams typically are going to win 15, 16, 17 games a year. You know, every year they're going to win games because they can defend. But I don't know, you know, if they can win a championship. You know, but at the same time, the teams that go and score 90 and give up 85. They win a bunch of games because they outscore people, but when they get down to the state tournament, you know, they catch somebody, you know, that makes some baskets and they have a cold night and they get beat. So I think you got to be able to do both.
I think so too. That kind of basketball I was thinking wouldn't work. Just a good balance of both, and that hasn't changed. Do you think that the outstate teams are at a disadvantage? And this is a numbers game. I mean, it's probably an easy answer, but do you think you have the personnel to compete? I mean, is everybody at a disadvantage out of just because of the numbers thing?
I don't know. I think that's a poor excuse.
I do too.
You know, and you know what we don't have to deal with here is I know who my kids are.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to keep them. You know, we have other schools in town, but for the most part, we're going to keep our guys and we're going to get them for 4 years.
Yeah.
Omaha's battling a lot of transfer situations. It would be very frustrating to coach around there. So, you know, we try not to make any excuses. We just go to work, bring our lunch pail, and do what we do around here, and hopefully that's good enough.
Well, I think that's a good idea, and it would be hard to coach that way in Omaha because one year you're pretty good, and then the next year you get some transfers out and none in that you wanted, and then pretty soon you're a mediocre basketball team. Are you familiar? We were just talking about these academies that are popping up all over. Are those? I thought those were just for, and I'm just going to ask this off the cuff because I don't understand what they are. I thought they were just for recent graduates, maybe to prepare them better for college basketball. But I know that this kid that may be transferring into Benson was already there.
Yeah.
What do they do? I mean, they've got to be academically pretty high class, don't they?
I don't know for sure what the academic requirements are, but I know it's a prep school. You know, they send them out there and basically spend a year of high school out there. There's 2 different ways to do it. You can go out and reclassify, so you can go before your senior year, and that's kind of what the Char kid did when they go out and play. Typically, they go to places that are highly recruited. You know, they've had other Division I talent that have went through there, and so it probably gives them a little bit better chance of getting looked at earlier on. Then there's other kids that maybe don't make the grade coming out as seniors, and so they'll go to a prep school, and it's kind of an interim season.
I see.
And they can get them eligible, you know, as they move forward, or maybe they're a 17-year-old senior, and it would be good to, you know, mature for a year. So I think there's definitely some benefits to it. It obviously hurts the basketball here in the state of Nebraska because we're losing a lot of good talent.
I know. What about your lower development, you know, in the middle school level? Who handles that? I know Hofi did before. Is he still around?
Yeah, we have our Junior Islanders program. I oversee it. Coach Hopefelt runs it for me. He does a really nice job with the skill development. I think it's a really good deal. This senior class is actually kind of the first group that went all the way through Junior Islanders. So I think they were 4th graders when the thing started. So I think there's definitely a direct, you know, relationship between the fact that those guys have been in a solid youth program all the way through, and now they're having some success as seniors. And I think as our program builds, our JVs are 4-0 right now too. You know, our sophomore class is very, very talented, and you know that's a reflection of what Coach Hofelt's done with that group.
That's a terrific thing. I'm going to try to quell some kind of a thing that's been going around. Now, this starts in the 4th grade, is that correct? There's a thing going around where the Grand Island Public School System has decided that at the middle school level that everybody plays, and it's just kind of like a YMCA deal. That's not true, is it?
The way they're running at the middle school level, I can't really,
You
say
probably don't know, yeah.
Now I know, but they do not cut. I know that.
Well,
and they have A, B, C, D games,
yeah.
so they provide opportunities for everybody to play. Now, whether or not they, make it a requirement that every kid plays, I do not know. I suppose that's school based. In our Junior Islander program, that's not the case.
Oh, are they?
We run it more competitively.
Yeah.
Yeah. Junior Islander.
I don't see how it could be. There's nothing wrong with having a team with 50 guys on it. I mean, the ones that aren't very good aren't going to play probably anyway. But are your kids, the Bar and the Walnut and Westridge kids, involved in that Junior Islanders thing too? And then plus play at the middle school level?
Yep.
4-0 and 4-0 and whatever the sophomores or whatever they are right now. That you can see that building up though, huh?
Yeah, I think we got some things going. I have a great staff, and so they're getting great instruction all the way through. I just have a bunch of guys that have been head coaches before, and so I can lean on them and learn from them. But then the best thing is you have a head coach that has experience at every level, and so they're getting head coaching experience, and instruction every single day.
Can you tell me who your staff is? No, I'm not familiar other than Steve.
I have Steve Hartman, and then I have Dan Valley. He's been with me, since I've been here. He's a 2-time state champion at Johnson Brock.
Yeah.
As a head coach, was a head coach at Ord. So he's been around the block. Then I have Scott Herkett, who was a head coach at Gibbon with the girls for a long time, and he sees these kids all year round because he coaches football, basketball, track. So. There's nobody that has a deeper relationship with our guys than Coach Herkett. And then I have Coach Plackey, Andrew Plackey, is St. Paul grad, 2007, I think. Coached out at North Platte for a while, and he's been with me from the start. So then I've been able to keep the retention rate as far as, my staff goes. I have guys that have been here for a long time, and then obviously Coach Hartman coached my brother, so I've had a relationship with him for quite some time. So.
Yeah, he's a pretty sharp cookie, so there's pretty good leadership there. In the summertime, what do you guys do in the summertime? Do the guys split off and go into these teams, or do you go to camps like the football team does as an Islander unit? What's your feelings on that at this level of basketball?
In a lot of ways, it's kind of turned into the Wild Wild West in the summer. They basically no rules. You can do whatever you want. And so if you don't get in the gym and you're not working, you're going to get behind.
Yeah.
We try to front load everything and do as much as we can in June. With the dynamics of our school, we have to share athletes, and so we leave July open for football for the most part, and then our basketball only guys that are going to play in the AAU circuit, then they go off and play with their AAU teams in July. Do
you think that's a good deal? I mean, obviously you got to keep going. Do you think those teams teach defense?
No, those teams don't teach defense, but most of the collegiate coaches are recruiting in the summer, and most of the exposure that they're going to get has to come from the summer, and so. Especially in the state of Nebraska, and so our top end kids that want to play basketball at the next level, the AAU stuff is extremely important for them.
And they do develop a better shot. I mean, they don't do anything that you have to correct, I'm sure,
No.
It's just a good, it can't hurt them. In other words, I've seen guys that are really, they're going to develop bad habits. I don't think that's the case. So you guys don't do anything. How about weight room? Everybody has different ideas on basketball weight room. I remember when Bill Gavers played tennis. Come on.
Our guys go through Islander Power. They just go through Coach Swanson's stuff, and it's really good. I would credit a lot of our success, school-wide to our Islander Power. And
he's as good as there is.
They do a good job with their off-season stuff, and then they kind of curtail the workouts based on where you're at or in your season. So our basketball guys right now have a little bit different workout than the kids that are out of season, and they're hard at it this summer, and they go through, basically, they go through what the football guys go through, and they're building strength. And as you look into the NBA, you look at guys like LeBron James, the physicality of the NBA right now is much different than what it was 20 years ago.
Oh, no kidding.
You know, and there's Steph Curry and Kevin Durant that probably don't have that physicality that maybe the LeBrons do, but there's a heck of a lot more LeBron-style guys in the NBA than the little dudes anymore. So I think you're seeing that the lifting is extremely important.
Now, I just want to clear something because I think the people out there want to know. So the basketball guys in the summer go through the same thing everybody else does.
Yep.
I mean, they're not doing separate things right off the bat. Obviously, that's going to change now. I think that's a good deal. That's why this program, school-wide, as you said, is so successful. You don't get much better than Coach Swanson up there anyway. So I assume he's still here. I don't know why he, you don't want to lose that guy. How about the games this weekend? Can you tell us a little bit about what you'll be facing in Lincoln East and Carnegie? We all know Lincoln East has a terrific Division I player.
The good thing about those two teams is they play very similar. So our preparation this week is, we can prepare for both in similar fashions. Lincoln East obviously has the Greasel kid who's extremely talented, one of the premier players in our state, inside-out guy. You put a guard on him, he's going to post you up. You put a post on him, he's going to pull you to the perimeter. And so he's a tough matchup. Then they have the Jordan Jansen kid. I think he's going to Wayne State, so he's pretty talented underneath. And then they just have good role players. Their guard plays solid, and they play the right way. They're extremely well coached, And so I think that they're 4-0 for a reason. They're real. And then with Carney, obviously a rivalry game, Coach Brown is my best friend in coaching, and so we have a lot of the same philosophies, do things the same way. A lot of times he'll make call something, and I'll know exactly what it is just because we develop these things on the whiteboard together. So that's always kind of a fun deal. Friendly rivalry between the two of us. I don't know so much between Carnegie and Grand Island how friendly it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, our guys are always up to play them. So it's exciting, but at the same time, I think it's a real test to see where we're at as a program. 4-0 feels really, really good, but we don't want to be cheap speed.
No.
We certainly don't want to be complacent, and so we're going to go out this weekend and really see where we're at.
Do you ever plan on playing another game in the old gym against Carnegie?
Yeah, I think,
That was pretty cool, actually, because I'm an old-timer, and it takes a lot of work to put it back in there for announcing and all that stuff. But I know the last game I saw, Carnegie wasn't real thrilled about playing in there, but I think that was back when Burnham was a freshman, maybe. But I think it's a neat deal. You think it's cool? Or
yeah, it was a lot of fun. We moved it down there to try to create an atmosphere just because there wasn't a whole lot of people coming to the games at that point, and so we were able to create an atmosphere down there. As we've been more successful and we're putting a better product on the floor, obviously people are starting to show up. So hopefully we kind of outgrow it down there and we can create a good atmosphere. And we've seen that through the first couple of home games. Our crowds have been fantastic. Our student support's really good. Our junior Islanders are showing up and celebrating for us. So I think as far as the community support goes, hopefully we can just pack the Western.
Well, I hope so. Who's the most improved player over the summer on your program, or is it a group of players, or is it just a full product?
I think it's just a product. It's the togetherness. We've done a lot of team culture stuff, culture building, and just putting our guys in vulnerable situations where they have to answer tough questions to each other and have tough conversations. Wow. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is these guys truly love each other, both on and off the court. And,
I love to hear that.
And they understand each other, and they don't care about the name on the back of the jersey. They care about the one on the front. And that's rare. You don't see that a lot. And, in teams that we've had in the past, I don't know if you can say that. And so very excited about this group, and I would imagine that we're just going to continue to get better because of that.
I would think so. That's a big, big key. And I was going to ask you if you've had any other teams like that, but obviously they do not come along all that often. So this will be seniors that you coached as freshmen with. Is this your fourth year?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this no better way to do it than have that happen right now. And of course that's a product of you and your coaching staff. Well, I want to thank you very much for having me today. 4-0 Grand Island. If you want to see a great basketball game, goodness gracious, come out Friday night. A couple of 4-0 basketball teams in Lincoln East, and I don't know what time you start. I imagine
7:30.
7:30. Well, get here because, and hopefully you'll have to look for a seat.
That'd be great.
Thank you for having me, and good luck to GI. For the Independent.com, this is Bobby Mills saying catch us next time. Zach Nahey behind the camera. We'll catch you down the line with another version of Bobby Mills, Independent Sports Talk.